Lane Frost, considered one of the greatest icons of global rodeo, was a world bull riding champion in 1987. His death in 1989, after a tragic accident during a competition at Cheyenne Frontier Days, marked a turning point in the world of rodeo. During the event, Lane was riding a bull named Taken Care of Business. After staying on the animal for 8 seconds, something unexpected happened. The bull threw him to the ground, and as Lane tried to get up, he was hit with the bull's hind legs, causing fatal injuries. He suffered internal lacerations that led to massive hemorrhaging, and death was almost immediate. This accident had a profound impact on professional rodeo, especially since Lane was one of the most admired competitors, and there were high expectations for his career. His death brought attention to flaws in rodeo safety measures, resulting in a shift in mindset within the sport. The use of protective vests became mandatory in subsequent competitions, and his death helped drive the improvement of safety standards for all competitors. Lane Frost's tragedy, however, was not in vain. It highlighted the urgent need for enhanced safety measures, and rodeo, as we know it today, is much safer thanks to the changes implemented after his passing. Lane's courage and legacy live on today, serving as a symbol of dedication and respect in rodeo. In 2025, rodeo suffered a tragic loss with the death of Dylan Grant, a promising 24-year-old during the Wharton County Youth Fair in Texas. Dylan was riding a bull named Commander when he suffered a devastating accident. After the ride, the bull threw him to the ground and trampled him, hitting vital parts of his body. The impact was brutal, and Dylan was quickly rescued and transported by helicopter to a hospital in Houston. Despite the efforts of the medical team, he did not survive the injuries and passed away shortly after arriving at the hospital. This incident caused a great deal of sorrow within the rodeo community, especially among young athletes who saw Dylan as an example of courage and determination. His death once again raised questions about safety in rodeo and the need to improve the protective measures for competitors. Many criticized the lack of resources and the rush to put competitors in risky situations without proper concern for their safety. Dylan's case served as a stark reminder that despite improvements in safety practices, rodeo remains a high-risk sport where athletes' lives can be put in danger at any moment. After his death, many members of the rodeo community began pressing for more substantial changes in safety regulations, such as better protective vests, more effective impact-absorbing equipment, and increased supervision during competitions. Dylan Grant, though taken too soon, left behind an important legacy, being remembered as a young man who lived and died for his passion for rodeo. In 2025, rodeo witnessed yet another tragedy involving a promising young athlete, Zach Nagel, who suffered one of the most severe accidents of his career during the Conley Invitational Bull Ride. Zach, known for his exceptional skill, was riding the bull Thunderstrike, one of the most challenging animals in the competition. After the first few seconds of the ride, the bull managed to throw Zach to the ground with force. As he was getting up, the bull brutally struck him with its horns. The impact was devastating. Zach suffered a puncture to his neck, cutting a major blood vessel, resulting in massive blood loss. He was immediately rushed to the hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery. Thankfully, after several days of intensive treatment and a difficult recovery, Zach survived, but he was left with permanent nerve damage, which limited his ability to ride with the same agility as before. This incident not only shocked the rodeo community, but also sparked a reflection on safety measures in high-level competitions. The need for improvements in competitor protection, particularly regarding the use of protective vests and other gear, became a priority. Zach's tragedy highlighted that no matter how much safety measures are constantly evolving, rodeo remains an activity of extreme risk, where even the most experienced athletes can fall victim to fatal accidents. Moreover, Zach's courage in returning to the sport and continuing his career, despite the accident, inspired many in his recovery journey. His story became a symbol of resilience and determination, highlighting the unshakable passion for bulls and rodeo. In 2024, Rodeo suffered another heavy blow with the accident of Walker Hollywood Smith, a promising young rider from the new generation of bull riders. During a competition at the National Rodeo Championship, Walker was riding the Bull Wild Thunder, one of the most feared bulls of the season. After the first few seconds of the ride, the bull made an unexpected move, throwing Walker to the ground violently. As he tried to get up, the bull trampled his chest area, causing severe damage to his chest and internal organs. The severity of the accident was such that Walker was immediately rescued and airlifted to a local hospital, where he was diagnosed with multiple traumas, including broken ribs and damage to his lungs. Additionally, he suffered significant nerve system damage, which led to a temporary loss of mobility. The recovery was difficult and lengthy, but with the support of the medical team and his family, Walker managed to overcome the trauma and return to competition. Though with physical limitations, this incident once again brought attention to safety issues in rodeo, especially concerning the impact that being trampled can have on competitors. The accident of Walker Hollywood Smith was a clear example of how, despite preventive measures, rodeo remains an extremely high-risk sport. However, Walker's courage and determination to return to the sport and overcome the aftermath of the accident made him a true inspiration for the rodeo community and for everyone facing adversity. Brendan Clark was one of the big names in rodeo, being a renowned competitor in the Professional Bull Riders PBR. In 2009, he suffered one of the most serious accidents of his career during a competition in Omaha, Nebraska. Clark was riding the bull Bodacious, one of the most challenging and aggressive animals in PBR at the time. After the first few seconds of the ride, the bull made a brutal move that threw Clark to the ground with extreme force. As he tried to get up, Bodacious struck his face with a violent headbutt. The impact was devastating. Brendan Clark suffered severe facial fractures, including the permanent loss of his sense of smell and taste. He was quickly rushed to the hospital, where he underwent several surgeries to reconstruct the lower part of his face. Although he survived the accident, the after effects were irreversible. This tragedy brought more attention to safety issues in rodeo, especially regarding the impact that aggressive bulls could have on competitors. After the incident, PBR and other rodeo organizations implemented changes in safety measures to try to prevent such a serious event from happening again. Improvements included the introduction of new types of facial protection vests and more advanced helmets, aiming to reduce the risk of facial injuries. Brendan Clark's courage in returning to the arenas, despite his injuries, inspired other bull riders and is still remembered today as an example of determination and bravery. Tuff Hedeman is considered one of the greatest names in rodeo history and one of the most respected athletes in professional bull riders PBR history. During the National Finals Rodeo NFR in 1995, Hedeman experienced one of the most critical moments of his career while riding the bull Bodacious, an animal notorious for its strength and aggressiveness. As Tuff prepared for the ride, he knew he was facing one of the toughest bulls of all time. The competition was intense, and despite his efforts, Hedeman could not complete the ride. When Bodacious finally bucked him off, he threw Tuff to the ground with incredible force. The impact was so strong that Hedeman suffered severe facial fractures, including the destruction of his jaw and other significant damage to his face. But the most devastating result was the permanent loss of his senses of smell and taste due to nerve damage in his face. After the accident, Tuff Hedeman underwent multiple surgeries to reconstruct his face, and the recovery was long and painful. Despite the irreversible damage, Hedeman became a symbol of resilience within the rodeo community. His experience brought attention to the need for new protective technologies, especially for the face and head of riders, and served as a wake-up call to the importance of improving safety in the sport. Tuff Hedeman's story, which continues to be remembered today, is an example of how rodeo is a high-risk sport and how severe injuries can profoundly affect the lives of athletes. His determination to keep competing after the accident, despite the physical challenges, made him even more respected within the rodeo community. In 1989, rodeo suffered a tragic loss with the death of Glenn Keely, one of the greatest Canadian competitors of the time. During the Canadian professional rodeo, Glenn was competing in a bull ride that seemingly was just another challenge in his career, but ended up becoming the most fatal accident of his life. The bull named Red Rock was known to be extremely aggressive and unpredictable, and when the ride began, Glenn had no chance to resist the animal's sudden movement. After being thrown to the ground, Keely was violently struck by the bull's hind legs. The impact caused fatal damage to his head and neck, resulting in immediate death. His death was a shock to everyone involved in rodeo, especially his teammates and the Canadian rodeo community, where he was highly respected for his skill and bravery. Glenn Keely's tragedy brought attention to the need to review safety conditions in competitions and the way aggressive bulls were selected for rides. After the accident, the Canadian Pro Rodeo implemented new safety guidelines, including the use of more advanced protective vests and a review of the criteria for selecting bulls for competitions. Keely's legacy remains alive today, not only for his skill as a competitor, but for the way his death helped improve safety in rodeo. Mason Lowe was a promising young bull rider whose life was tragically cut short during a competition at the Professional Bull Riders PBR event in 2019. The accident occurred during the competition in Denver, Colorado, when Lowe was riding the bull Hard Times, one of the most aggressive animals of the season. Shortly after the ride began, Lowe was thrown to the ground with great force. The bull, still in motion, struck him with its hind legs, delivering a fatal blow to the head area. Lowe was quickly rescued and transported to the hospital, but he did not survive his injuries. His death was a shock to the entire rodeo community, especially considering he was one of the most promising athletes of his generation. Mason Lowe, with his energy and passion for rodeo, had gained the admiration of many, and his death once again raised the issue of safety in the sport. The incident of Mason Lowe sparked a wave of changes in rodeo safety practices. PBR, in collaboration with other organizations, began reviewing and improving protective equipment, especially helmets and safety vests. Additionally, first aid training for medical teams in arenas was intensified. Lowe's death, although tragic, helped save lives in the future, as the safety measures that emerged after his passing significantly increased protection for competitors. If you were moved by these stories of bravery and perseverance in rodeo, don't forget to subscribe to our channel Celebrities Farm and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any new videos about the greatest feats and emotional moments of the world of farms and rodeo. In the next video, we'll explore the largest and most iconic ranches in the world, where you'll learn about the historical and economic impact of large farms and how they influence the global market. Don't miss it. See you there, and remember, courage is in our soul.